Hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of The Chat. My name is Sue Stewart, along with Pat LaRose. Nice to have you along.
Yes. Good. Hello, everyone.
We really want to take the moment to give a big shout out to our friends over on Vincent Massey Drive. Test drives are happening. The sun has been out, and what's a better time to buy a new car than summer?
That's right. So shout out to our sponsor, Riverside Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. If you're in the market for a car, check out riversidechrysler.ca. They are open by appointment only right now. They can also assist you virtually. So if you're looking for a Dodge Ram, a Jeep, or something that you can put the top down in the summer, definitely check out riversidechrysler.ca.
And we're glad always to have them aboard. Pat, you and I got talking about the temperatures in our home, because I've got 5 people any given time that live here. I don't even know. They come and go. Now I've got a new dog, I guess, apparently for now. And that's a whole other human. It's a Bernedoodle. Like literally, I think she weighs the same as I do. It's like having another human in the house.
Oh my God.
But everybody here wants the house at a different temperature. I've told you before, my office is downstairs, so that's where it's the coldest. And I'm in slippers and a sweater, and I've got my little furnace heater on. It's just like a little electric fireplace. That's ridiculous when it's 40 degrees outside and I'm freezing in my own house. So that's the temperature wars that we've been going through here. And I asked you what you keep your thermostat at.
Yeah, so whenever it's hot like this, I put the AC on, but we like to have it around 21 and a half is a comfortable temperature for us. But I'm the same, like my basement is really cool all the time. And if the AC is off and you're sitting downstairs, as soon as you come up, like to the last few steps up, it's like hitting a wall. The heat just smacks you in the face. But 21 is a comfortable, 21 and a half is where we like to stay.
But you and Anne both, you're fine with, nobody's arguing about it.
Not now, but I'll tell you, when we started dating and before we moved in together, so I had two dogs, and whenever we got to the point where we were having discussion of moving in with each other, we started like just sleeping at each other's houses or whatever. So we trialed bringing the dogs to her apartment and sleeping there, and we had a heat wave that weekend, and it was nuts. So she grew up with no AC all her life. And so she didn't have an air conditioner in her apartment. I think she had maybe a fan or two, but that night was unbelievable. We had to move the mattress into the living area. We had all the doors and the windows open, and the dogs were suffering. So the next night we stayed at my place, and there was central air, and it was air conditioning, and it was really cool. And I think that's the moment when her mindset shifted, and now she appreciates it. Like even our first house, we didn't have central air. We had an air conditioner, but it only cooled a specific area of the house. Now we have central air, and it's nice. So her position has changed, although she still doesn't like it as cold as I would. But we don't usually get into arguments about it.
I certainly feel sorry for the people who were in apartment buildings in the big cities during the COVID outbreak that weren't allowed to leave their apartments. Can you imagine how stifling it would be? Like most apartments, you've pretty much got a patio door or a window. There's no flow through. So I can only imagine there'd be bowls of ice cubes with fans pointing at them. Anything to stay cool, because it really can affect your mood, your attitude, everything. Being hot is not one of my, I shouldn't say being hot is one of my perks. I like it during the wintertime. I like the house hot during the winter. But in the summertime, I agree with you, 21 degrees. I went onto Facebook and asked other people. No men went on my Facebook and answered. It was all women saying they know better. Basically, it was more menopause talk than anything. You don't mess with a woman going through menopause. The temperature stays where she wants it.
Yeah, it's one thing to be cranky. It's another to be hot and cranky, right?
Yeah, but I think 21 is about the right level. Although the other night we went to bed, and Luke tends to go over. He's a big man, he tells me. So he goes over and pops down the temperature a couple of degrees. I didn't know this. So when we went to bed, I was absolutely freezing. I reached for another blanket and I said, did you turn the air down? Like, is it gone down? No, why? But I'll tell you right now, I woke up the next morning at 7 o'clock. That never happens. I usually wake up around 12:30, 2:15. I wake up a bunch of times in the night. I had the best sleep, and I found out that morning it was at 19 degrees. So I'm not sure if that's what helped or not, me going to bed in a cool atmosphere, still with, you know, an extra blanket on, but still the air was cool. That's what I was breathing in. I think there's something to that. Plus, I've started drinking water before bed with a big cup of ice cold water. I put a lot of ice in just because when I wake up in the night, I don't want it to be, you know, tap water.
Yeah, I made the mistake yesterday when I came home for lunch, and it felt like it was a little breezy outside. So I'm like, and then I walked in the house and it was cold. So I'm like, I think I could probably turn the AC off.
Oh no.
I turned it off, and it wasn't too bad for the first few hours. And then around supper time, it got hot, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, but my wife wouldn't let me turn the AC back on. So I'm like, okay, I'll try and fight through it. But I'm the same as you. I like it cold when I sleep, and I think, and I said this on our poll, it's easier for me to warm up than it is to cool down. So I'd
Mhm.
rather it be a little more chilly and have like a thicker blanket on than to it be warmer and just have a thin sheet on.
Well, I think for most people, they're trying to save energy and they turn it down a little bit or turn it up. It'd be the opposite, right? You turn it up when you leave the house, not turn it down, because if you turn it down, it gets colder.
Yeah,
It's the opposite of what I want to say right now. But I think you know where I'm going with this. People
yeah.
do want to be energy conscious, but most people are at home right now. So I think the bills might be creeping up a little bit. You might want to keep an eye on that, because with everybody home as many hours as they are in a day, not out in the office at work or at school. That's another thing, actually. If the school year's done for now, but if they decide to talk about putting kids continuing through the summer in school, most schools don't have air conditioning, right?
I don't know.
I don't think they do.
Really,
I'm
eh?
not there. We're not there in the summer, so we don't really know. And it never really
Yeah,
gets to the peak height of summer when the temperatures. That's an
yeah.
interesting thing. That'll cost a lot of money. If I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I think it's been talked about, right? We've got education has to continue on. We've missed out on most of this year, possibly might miss out on a little bit more coming up in the fall. So might be the inevitable, put kids in summer school.
Yeah, yeah. You never know. But were your parents bad? Like your father specifically bad in the winter with your thermostat? Like my father, I remember it was like you would create a war for sure if you touched that thermostat in the heat, because he would like put it at like a perfect temperature, and we would hang out in the basement in the rec room, and if we turned that sucker up, oh boy, he was not a happy man.
That never went on in our house because we lived in the country and it was a wood fireplace and a wood furnace. So when Dad stoked the fire, you had no rhyme or reason to touch any thermometer, because of the fact that the house was going to be as hot as it was until the wood burned out.
Right.
There was no regulating it. You just knew. By morning, you were freezing because the fire had gone out. I sound like I lived a
Yeah.
little in the prairie, but it was close. It was
Uh,
close. Actually, I looked up some fun facts on air conditioning because it was almost like the microwave. Remember when the microwave or the VCR came out? Nobody could afford it. It was ridiculous. 1900s is when it was invented. And the sole purpose was to protect paper and ink. Air conditioning. And the first unit, they said only because of the size and cost, in 1914 it came out, it was 7 feet high, 6 feet wide, and 20 feet long, costing anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000, which going from there to now would be equivalent to our $120,000 to $150,000 for an air conditioning unit. Imagine.
wow.
Again, bowl of ice cubes and a fan.
Well, and even
That was
if you don't have a pool, like if you had a pool, you could easily just jump in before you go to sleep, dry off, and you know that might cool you down. Or putting your, like they say, put your feet under cold water. But I don't know. For me, I still, when it's really really hot in the house, it makes me very uncomfortable.
Mhm. Absolutely. Irritable. It's called irritable. You're not going through menopause, are you, Pat?
No, I don't think so.
If you're sitting beside a woman in the heat and you see, or when it's not hot and she's got, a little bit of perspiration, just move away for now.
Yeah.
Let her
Well,
be.
I've been told I give off a lot of heat too, so I don't know if I'm just normally like hot all the time, but I give off a lot of heat.
You're a little furnace when you go to bed, are you?
Yeah.
So again, with sleeping, we're going encouraging people to go with the colder temperatures if they've got air conditioning. Try that. Just dumb your air conditioner down just a little bit and see if it helps you sleep better. Because again, I'm one of the worst sleepers. I know a lot of my friends are in the same boat. They just can't sleep at night. If you wake up, you're done. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, do I start laundry or go mow the lawn? No, don't mow the lawn. You'd be upsetting the neighbors. Sure. But
Well,
you had a couple of articles you were looking at when it came to sleep.
yeah. So some of the things I found. So one of the things I found most interesting was that it's saying dehydration can cause sleep problems, can cause insomnia. So they're saying to stay hydrated, and that I think really woke me up a little bit, because I don't drink enough water during the day. Like they say, you're supposed to do what, eight glasses of 16 ounces? Is that what it is? 16 ounces or glasses of water a day, whatever it is. But I know I don't drink enough water a day.
I don't think anybody really does. I really don't, unless it's these hot, sweltering days. I don't crave it. If I'm out in the sunshine, yeah, but I bet most people are in the same boat. A couple glasses here or there, it's not equivalent to what we need.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just, I drink my coffee in the morning, and the only things I really drink are coffee, water.
Coffee doesn't count. Coffee doesn't count.
No, I know. But if it's a nice day and I'm sitting outside, I'm not thinking, oh, I'd love a big, tall glass of ice water. I'm thinking I want a cold beer, right? And I think that's where the problem comes in, because then you start drinking a couple beers and then forget it. You haven't drinking a glass of water all day, right? But I think that's an important thing that people need to realize. I think it's interesting, right? It is, make sure you're staying, if you're having trouble sleeping in the seat, and you're not drinking enough water, that could be one of the problems. And
again, 2 nights in a row, I had the air conditioning a little bit lower than normal, and those same 2 nights, I brought a big glass of water with lots of ice in it to bed with me. And again, 2 nights in a row, I slept. I'm saying that because again, there's so many people that just can't get a good, consistent night's sleep, and we all need it.
Yeah. And I think, you know what, we're talking about some of this information. It would be interesting to know if there are people that live together that fight over the temperature and one has to cave for the other, what that person does. I think more in the case of if, one person wants the AC on, the other one doesn't want it on, and they opt just to not turn it on. What does that person do?
Nobody does that. Nobody does that. I don't know. You're in a makeup world right now.
Maybe.
I'm seeing paper cutouts walking by going, no, it's okay. We'll just leave it off. Nobody does that.
But it's they're saying too, like before bed. I mean, a lot of it is common sense, right? Before bed, don't work out before bed. Don't drink hot beverages or eat spicy foods close to bedtime. Improving your sleep environment, like the saying, if you don't have AC, open your window, put your fan close to your window so it's blowing the fresh air. Keep your door open so that the air is circulating in the room. One of the things that you actually mentioned, putting an ice cube tray in front of your fan so the fan actually blows cold air. So all they have to do is Google how to stay cool without AC. But I think the easiest one is the hydration. Just make sure you're drinking enough water.
Yep. Take it to bed with you. You were touching base on what you should and shouldn't eat before bed. Spicy foods, of course, especially if you're got acid reflux or anything like that. Heartburn is a bad thing when you have to wake up with that in the middle of the night. I did look up some things that I have snackers in the house, and they dislike me when I give them that look of, really? You need those cookies and the big glass of milk? Do you need that sugar crisp cereal? Like, I'm kind of, they get annoyed with me and my judging. And I judge them. I'm like, it's 8:30 at night. We had a good dinner and now you're eating this big bowl of Fruit Loops. It's all coated in sugar. So I looked up some good things that people can eat. They're very low in calorie, and some of them even have a little bit of melatonin in them. And the first one that stands out to me is pistachios. Oh. Before COVID, I used to hang out with my best friend. I'd go over, we'd have a couple drinks. She'd bring out a bowl of pistachios. So we'd munch on those. I don't know if that was her plan, if she knows that there's melatonin, high levels of sleep promoting melatonin in pistachios. It says it right here. So I'm going to have to let her know. I get it. I now know how you get me to go home. Give me a glass of wine, a bowl of pistachios. She's got to go.
Yeah, just trying to make you a little sleepy.
Yeah.
Oh
Tart
my God.
cherries. Tart cherries are another one. They have a lot of melatonin in them as well, and they're very low in calories. I don't know who's eating the tart cherries. I don't know what the difference is between a regular cherry and a tart cherry, but the studies suggest here that it may help you sleep better. 8 ounces of the cherry juice or 1/3 cup of dried tart cherries. To me, I'm picturing cranberries, like a bitterness like that.
Yeah.
Have you
So
ever had
you're basically, I've had some cherries before, but not, I don't know what a tart cherry is. But if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying basically when my kids are out of hand and I need them to sleep, I should just feed them pistachios and some cherry juice.
There you go. There you go. It's almost
I
like
like it.
almost like an episode of Seinfeld with the turkey and the red wine. Didn't they get it almost sounded like a really bad crime scene. They're trying to give her turkey and wine to fall asleep so they could steal her stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Also kiwis. I don't eat kiwis. Every once in a while we'll buy them with good intentions, but then shortly thereafter throw them out when they're rotten and liquefied in the bottom of the fridge.
Yep.
But it says here, kiwis are a light, satisfying snack rich in vitamin C. 2 of them only pack 93 calories, and they're also a natural source of serotonin, which promotes relaxation, helps curb your appetite. Kiwis. Again, I would almost venture to say there's a lot of sugar, natural sugars, obviously, in fruits, and it might not be the best thing for you to have before bed, but even strawberries. Fresh strawberries are a great way when you want to visually be satisfied, but putting them with something like brie. So you're not eating a whole bunch of cherries, you're eating strawberries rather. I think strawberries paired with brie sounds like a great thing. Cheese and crackers was on the list as well, I think, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the combo of protein from cheese and carbs from crackers supports steady blood sugar levels and the production of sleep supportive brain chemicals. So there's a few healthier snacks you can give to your family before you go to bed and hope that they wind down a little bit easier. But now that you say that, it's not so much Luke, Ryan, and Alex, it's little Miles that was almost 5 years old and wired for sound from the moment he wakes up to the moment he finally crashes. So yeah, going out to get some pistachios and cherry juice today.
Yeah. And I think like for us, I think one of the things we noticed is we took the boys swimming the other day, and my oldest was in the pool the entire day.
Yeah.
And he slept like a baby whenever we got home, and he even slept in. So I think I'm like, should we invest in a pool and have them swim all day, every day?
You just got to be careful that they don't get sunstroke.
Yes.
That's a big concern with most kids because you don't know it and you're thinking, oh, they're having so much fun, let them have it. But every once in a while, again, that's where the water comes into play. Get them even a popsicle, something to hydrate them a little bit while they're in the middle of it. And sunscreen is one thing that I'm not going to say I'm a bad parent, but once in a while it comes over you like a panic. I forgot to put sunscreen on them, or I'm getting them to, we leave it at the door with the Lysol wipes so that it's a on the way out the door sort of thing. You have to remember it. You have to walk by it. It needs to be there. But even when we're driving around in the car, we don't have tinted windows. You got to be mindful of that. You'll get your entire one side, your neck's all red. Well, the kids in the back too, they should have sunscreen on. We have a moon roof. I think it's called a moon roof, like the sunroof thing. So the sun's peering in at that most times. So we just have to be very careful as parents that we're always getting sunscreen and hydration with our kids.
Yes. Do you put on sunscreen before you go out during the day?
Yep.
Like on your face?
I just bought a new one that's specifically for my face because it's not so greasy. I thought I had it in here. I tend not to keep things in the car anymore because try putting sunscreen on your face when it's 9,000 degrees. You're burning yourself.
Yeah.
But yes, I bought one specifically that's 60 proof. What do you call it? 60.
Like SPF?
Thank you.
Yeah.
60 proof is good. Yeah, for sure on my face, because again, when I'm traveling in the car, it's bouncing off of everything. And I noticed a couple of days I was really red. I would just have a white mark under my neck because the sun's coming in from here and you're not getting this part. So I knew it was from the car.
See, I never put on sunscreen like during the day. Like if I'm just going out, it would only be if I'm planning on like just staying outside. But the older I get, the more I'm paying attention to like aging and anti-aging.
Yeah.
And they're saying that obviously the sun on your face is can be a factor in aging your skin. So I don't put sunscreen, but I have like this morning like a lotion, face lotion that has SPF in it.
Yeah.
I think I might be too late for that, but hopefully I'll have to start making an effort
No, it's never too late. You're not even 40 yet, are you?
in a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah, you got to start taking care. But,
Oh, thanks a lot.
but for me, more so, I think I told you this before. I had a couple of spots that I had to get cut out because of overdoing the sun. It was called basal cell carcinoma. And if there's a skin cancer you want to get, that's the one, because they can literally just cut it out. So I had one that was on my forehead, on my chest, and on my leg. And I know I've got a couple of more spots on my leg. So the doctor said, with you and your green eyes, blonde hair, you need to be more diligent at using sunscreen and staying out of the sun. I was a sun worshiper. I used tanning beds. It just, for my skin type, was the real wrong thing to do. So keep that in mind. You do want to protect yourself. You want to get some sunshine, but there are lotions out there. I use one from 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙡 just to give myself like a tan glow. I don't like being so white. Like my legs, they look funny to me when they're so white. So I use the 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙡 medium to tan lotion. Works like a charm.
Yeah,
Makes me
see,
feel healthy.
yeah, I'm the same though. I like to have a nice tan, and I'm a sun worshiper too. I like to be out in the sun. But my problem is, and I have solutions for it. I use the spray, but I hate the feeling of lotion.
Oh,
Like just the sensation of the lotion on the skin, like it just, I don't know, bothers me. Like even like I'll put it on my kids, but even putting it on my kids, like I have to wash my hands. Just the feeling of lotion on my hands bothers me.
well, suck it up, princess. You can wash your hands when you're done, or ask Anne to lather you up.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is worth it in the end, because again, you want to protect your skin. Isn't it our biggest organ? If you have to start getting pieces cut out like I am, you'll really you'll understand completely.
Oh my god.
Well, this has been a fun conversation, trying to determine who gets the rights of the thermostat, and we have both clued in that 21 degrees sounds about normal. Because I've gone into, I mean, I show a lot of houses, and I've gone in where I think, how can anybody live in a meat locker? I feel like I've walked into a freezer. I don't know how people can keep their house that cold, and I don't think it's normal. I don't think it's healthy. No.
I wouldn't want it to be that cold.
We vote for 21, and especially
21.
when you want to go to sleep, maybe 19. 19 for sleeping.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but 67 or so, 19 degrees. I didn't guess that. I wrote it down earlier.
I thought you were taking a guess.
No, I asked Google. It made it easier for me. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I think we'll do that again next week. Put another question up on Facebook and get people's thoughts on how they're doing, what they're doing. And if you don't mind, Pat, before we hang up today, I just want to remind people the COVID-19 is not over. If you are out and about with all of these businesses that are reopening, please respect the 6-foot rule. I went in to get vitamins the other day at a store, and 4 ladies were standing in front of me, and I patiently waited behind them. And I finally had to say, ladies, if you don't mind, I'm sticking with the 6-foot rule, and I need to get by you, because I was going down. I couldn't back up. The arrow was pointing that direction, and they all just looked and kind of giggled and moved over. So what we're asking people not to do, they were doing it. And it's not over. We still have to obey the rules for right now. We're being allowed to do something, and it is a privilege to be able to go out and support local businesses and do our shopping, but let's make sure that we don't get shut down again because more cases come out. Stay your 6 feet.
Yes. Yeah, and I think you're right. I think the warm weather tends to get people a little more excited, and they think that now they can get back to normal routine, but we still have to be careful. We still have to be cautious. And yes, it's great that you're supporting local, and it's not just, it's being courteous to other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're not as concerned, other people are. So just give them that courtesy of keeping the distance, right?
Absolutely. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day, Pat, and we'll talk to you again next week. Father's Day is coming up, so that's something that we're going to be discussing as well. again, it's something you want to plan ahead. Just like with Mother's Day, you need time to plan ahead, and especially if you order something from a store. We ordered a trampoline almost 3 weeks ago now. It's on back order. Like, there's a lot of different things that
Oh,
you're not just going to get at the drop of a hat. So plan ahead. That's what we'll be talking about next time, I guess.
sounds good.
Thank you so much again to our friends at Riverside Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Vincent Massey Drive. All the best to you guys, and keep up the great service.